Hello and welcome back to Behind the Powerhouse. This is the podcast where we talk about everything Powerhouse art, what's going on behind the scenes. Today we're going to be talking a little bit about the art of business. What is success? How can you be more successful? And how is the past of what Tom's done led to this project? Tom?
All right, thanks. Tom Kirk. I started Powerhouse Art maybe 2 years ago, but it's still really in the beginning stages. And I believe what I want Powerhouse to be is to become a foundation or a platform where the creative mindset has something to start with, something to build off of, a place where we can unite and send ideas off back and forth. And what's really important to me is defending the freedom of speech and not having arts regulated. And that will always be a main focus of what we do. And hopefully it's something that we don't have to talk about a lot, but what we're doing, but that's something that's near and dear to me and that I want to protect. So I'm Tom Kirk. I brought together what I call my Powerhouse team, my dream team with Henson Disposal. And I am going to ask to introduce kind of in the order of when these people came into my life through business, not through personal. So I'm going to introduce my brother Tim.
So my name's Tim Kirk. I'm Tom's youngest brother. Shortly after I had graduated high school, didn't really know what I was going to do. I was going to school part-time. Just one day Tom said, "Hey, you want to come help me out and work?" I just kind of started doing office stuff at the beginning. And just as the business grew, my role grew. I did finish school. I went to school to be a teacher. Never taught for a day of my life. This was my career for the whole time. I did go to school. If I could do it over again, I probably wouldn't have wasted my time with it. But I know, for some people, school is a good thing. Like I was a bad student. But from the time I came on with Tom, he just, we kind of evolved into, like, he did his thing, I did my thing, and it's not successful for everybody, but it worked for us, and it worked out in the long term.
Okay.
So a lot of what you said we're going to talk about.
Yeah,
we're going to talk about here in a little bit. I'm going to get the introductions first. So really next came on was Rob Fazzini. Rob, tell us about yourself, and only in about 30 minutes because you've done
we'll keep it short. Yeah, I joined Tom after retiring from Busey Bank as the president in this area. I met Tom because I was the president designate of a company that was going to turn garbage into jet fuel, and this community was going to be the first community in the United States to have that. Unfortunately, the leaders of this community were a little bit myopic and didn't embrace the concept and turned it down. The project went to California. The company in California actually embraced it, and shortly after got a $10 million grant from United Airlines to get the jet fuel that they were going to produce from garbage. So it was successful, and we missed our opportunity here. But that's how I met Tom. We were going to take some of his waste and use it in our process, but it didn't turn out that way. And it turned out that was a beautiful relationship that Tom and I formed because of that. So the failure led to a success.
Yep. I believe that when you saying it was successful in California was a little bit of just
a little bit,
didn't take it, right?
Yeah, exactly.
So, the introduction to you being last, you were actually the first, but the roles were a little bit different. And to me, your friendship, you've seen the whole thing. But what I wanted to talk to you most is about, or included you in this, is more of what you're interested in, what you're doing now, as a role of what you've done. Because a lot of mine and your relationship, I'd like to talk about at a different time. So, who are you, my man?
Well, Patrick Henson. Obviously, I mentioned school. Fast forward, 20 some years, and the mulch business became an opportunity that we kind of circled back around on. You helped us, me and my partner, Tom Jones, get that up and going. And then a few years later, we got into the trucking to start hauling our own material, and there was an opportunity to start hauling some of your material out of your transfer stations, and it went from one truck to a couple times a week to 7 to 8 full-time trucks.
Yep.
So
So I considered Pat was never my employee. He was indirect. So he serviced our company primarily as a sole operation is what he did. So he really took care of us, and it was something that we didn't have to do. It was a great relationship. So Tim talked about a little bit right off the bat that we started to work together. How I recall it was, I'm just like, hey Tim, let's be partners and let's do this. And this podcast to me is about my opinion. All of this is my opinion, and Tim already said it. This is what worked for us. I'm not saying it's going to work for anybody else. And I don't even know if I could go back and try to do what we already did and even be successful again if we tried to follow the same path, because a lot of it was timing, who we met, just kind of how the cards unfolded. But what I realized right off the bat with myself was I could not do this on my own. Could not. I'm a super good worker. I'm hands-on. I'm really good with people, but I'm not organized at all. And I recognize Tim as just like, he's crazy organized, super clean, and right off the bat, I've always been able to recognize my weaknesses, and to have a partner is something that I think you're lucky to have. I don't know that a lot of people are able to get that in anything, in personal life or especially in business. And we are so opposite in many things. I had no idea what he did, probably had no idea what I did, which made it a perfect relationship because I couldn't do his job, he couldn't do mine. But always, for me in my mind, knowing that I had somebody that would take a bullet for me, that just showed up and like believed in me, like, you're the first one. Like, you were the one who's like, let's do this. So I feel like I don't know if you're going to be a teacher or not, but he signed up, man, and you gave me your life, and I appreciate it. And we did super, super good. And I know we would butt heads at sometimes, but we had to have that. Like, it's important. We got to do it. And we just learned to work together, and man, we built something that was amazing. And in our industry, on what we did, I don't know anybody else that made it. Not to what we did. I don't know one single person. A lot of it was just passion or perhaps luck. But my point of this is, for art, for me personally, I've been successful in art, not because of the arts, because I was successful in my career. And my career allowed me to be successful in the art. So I feel it's a lot easier to do your hobby or your passion when you're not starving. Herb Eaton told me, and I thought this was funny, he goes, I would do a project or a sculpture that was worth $10,000, but I didn't have enough money for groceries and I was hungry, so I sold it for $100. And he goes, now, if the sculpture is worth $10,000, I sell it for $10,000, because now he's to where he can do that. And for me, I never had to sell the sculpture for $10 because I was successful, in my business.
Yeah. To me, a little bit like my definition of art in a way is sort of the act of bringing something into fruition. It's sort of the act of creating something. It doesn't even necessarily matter like the end product. So to me, in a way, how you say the art came after that, well, actually creating the business to where it was in itself an art project.
Yep.
Like, you both worked together and did your things to bring that in and to make that happen. Yeah. So I don't know.
So I
curious.
I agree with you. I agree with you so much. Like, I've got my note page here, and when I look up the word art, I don't like art as described as a painting or a mural or a sculpture or metal. Art is something that you're passionate about, and you research and you develop a great way to do it. So back to the baton twirler, like it can be anything. It can be the best truck driver they've ever had. Like it's his art. It's what he does. And so I'm with you 100%. I guess what we did, came down to an art. And but it took all of us. And when I say all of us, we're missing Jen Capodice, who was Jen Penn, and that'll be something that we'll discuss here in a little bit. And then we're missing Tim's wife, Christine, who also played a major key role in what we're doing. So Rob, you, when it comes to success, you changed my world, my life, Tim's, Pat, whether he knows it or not, just because anything that I do for the rest of my life, you will get credit for. And we've talked about this many times, but once Tim and I got to a level, we were stuck. And we weren't stuck because of down here we were solid. We were stuck because me and Tim got to a level where we just needed help. We didn't know what to do. We couldn't.
We hit the ceiling.
We hit the ceiling.
For the longest time, we wouldn't have been ready for Rob.
Your timing was right.
We had to learn. We had to get to a point to where Rob could come in and then help us. For the first 15 years, when you're just struggling to get by, you're battling something different until you reach a certain level.
We weren't ready to listen. Me and you talk about this all the time. We were not ready to listen. And once we were ready to listen, we brought Rob in. And like Rob said, we met because of a project. And what I noticed was Rob never missed a date. He never didn't have follow through. You kept things going. It was precise. It was precision. I'm like, man, we need that. So tell us.
Yeah, go back to art. As a bank president, you have many roles. One of them is to take care of all the people who work for you in your bank. And at Busey, we had 7 locations, 126 people, $250,000 or $1 billion in deposits. It was my responsibility as the president to make sure that the people who worked for us were enjoying what they did, and if they wanted to progress, that they were going to be given the tools to be able to move up in the organization. We needed to protect them. If people were customers and they were mistreating them, we needed to step in and make sure that didn't happen. Also, the bank president was in charge of getting new business for the bank, which meant getting involved in the community. And as a bank president and the CEO of any company, you're responsible for making sure that your company's doing well, but also learning from outside how you can use things that other companies that may not even be in your industry are doing so that you can implement them. So you do all of that. And I remember at dinner one time, our grandson was there and he said, "Grandpa, what's a bank president do?" And I went through that whole spiel of this and this and this, and his eyes glazed over. I thought, not sure that was the right approach. So that night I thought about it, and I called him the next day and I said, "I want to redo. I want you to ask me that question again because I want to give you the real answer." So he said, "Okay, Grandpa, what's a bank president do?" And I said, "I only had one job. My job as the guy in charge was to set the tone for everybody who worked for me." That was it. They needed to know that working hard meant something, that being honest meant something, that helping others in the organization meant something, that representing the bank to people, your friends, your neighbors, that meant something. So if you could set the tone, you've done your job. Everything else just fits into that. So when I joined Tom, it was just a matter of the same thing I did at the bank. You recognize that a company that started in the garage, or you guys wasn't a garage, it was just out in the fields, and you move from the garage to your house, and then you move from your house to you buy a building, and then you start manufacturing whatever it is. As your company grows, if you're willing to work hard and not take out but put in, you'll be successful if you have somebody who will help guide you to that success. And that's when I joined Tom and Tim. they were ready for that. We needed to go to the next stage. We needed to form an organization chart. We needed to have job descriptions. We needed to talk to people so they knew what their roles were. We didn't want everybody in the organization reporting directly to Tom or Tim. That doesn't work. And we wanted to encourage people who worked for the company to not just point out problems when they saw them, but they had the responsibility to think about what a solution was, so that anybody that went to Tim or went to Tom and said, hey, this isn't working, the response was, and how would you fix it?
Don't bring me a problem unless you have a solution.
And their solution may not be the best one because they didn't have the total overview or anything, but at least they thought about it. And then we worked from there. So that's sort of what I helped contribute to the company. We met our deadlines, always.
Well, he would drive you nuts.
There's that.
Well, we all learned to just give them the information, so leave us alone.
Yeah, follow through is absolutely important. You know, if you're a banker and you make loans and people aren't making their payments, you call them up and you come up with some solution for how they're going to make their payment. But you had to follow up. It's the same in business. You follow up. You make a promise, you keep it. It's that simple. So what we did is we set the tone. We used this little book. It's called The Fred Factor. And Tom, you mentioned art, and you were able to do it because you succeeded in business. The Fred Factor is about a mailman who did his job so well that everybody on his route loved him. When they went on vacation, he knew it. He took the mail around to the back. If they were going to be gone a couple of days, he would hold the mail and put it in a special place for them. Everybody knew Fred. No matter what your job is, if you're passionate about it and you love it, you do it the best of your ability, you can live your life and be happy. I don't care if you're the bank president, if you're the owner of Henson Disposal, if you have your trucking company, or if you're picking up garbage, or if you're waiting on people. If you love what you do, you'll be successful. And you don't have to be always trying to do something else. Just be good at what you do. And that's what we tried to let everybody at Henson know. And we met with everybody, the three of us, and Jen.
Yeah.
We would meet with people over lunch, and we would talk about what the company's doing and what was going on in their life. And then we had the one part about Las Vegas. What we say in this room stays in this room. And boy, we found out some really interesting things about people who work for us. And they found some interesting things to us, about us. Most people in that room, whenever we did it, didn't know that I spent a night in jail. That was interesting.
Yeah.
They, and we found out that one guy played pool with Minnesota Fats. I mean, we found out some really interesting things.
Yeah.
But it was just there were just 4 or 5 employees and the 3 of us, and we just sat around and talked.
Yeah.
It was great. And everybody in the company after that, if they saw somebody treating a customer any way that they didn't think we would like, they'd go over to somebody and say, that ain't the way Fred would do it.
Yeah.
So we had our employees now advocating for us, just as if they were the owner.
Yeah.
And this little book, whatever, 109 pages.
Yeah, that
really
helped
helped.
shape us. And you and I have talked about this many times, and that's where it came from. So I gave the example of a girl I just met, and she kind of had a bad attitude. And when I met her, I thought I saw an opportunity with this person to come here, because I saw her talent, I saw what she was able to do, and by me watching her when she really wasn't noticing that I was watching her, I'm like, I'm not going to invest my time, in this person, because she wasn't doing the job that she was doing well. And so I wasn't going to do it. And this, off of that, is how I wanted to introduce Jen. So Tim and I recognized we needed to bring in somebody to run the office. And Tim goes, I know who it is. I already know who it is. And tell him how you came up with Jen. This is an important lesson. Like, for you to do your best, you will be recognized.
So when I know how long, it's like when cell phones were starting to be a daily thing. So like we use Nextel. It was like the walkie-talkie things, and we gave every employee like a phone. So I was earmarked, like I had the awful task of like going to the phone store when they didn't work, set up a new one, whatever. And there's probably more than one store, but I always went to the same Nextel store, and Jen worked there. And I learned so if I went there, I would wait until like Jen was available, and like she could fix anything. And actually, Emily worked there too.
Yeah.
I always did the office work. When we outgrew that, my wife took over the office work. And then when we had our first son, she became a stay-at-home mom. So we had to hey, we go. I'm like, I went to that phone store. Jen, she had no idea who I was, other than I came there once a month to fix the phone. So I'm like, hey, I kind of explained what we needed, but I'm like, she dove in head first, we could have failed business the next month. She dove in head first and took over everything, and she stayed with us
To the end.
until the end.
And I think that's important. I want everybody to hear that. She got this position not because of education, not because of training, not because of the ability, was because she had an amazing attitude. She was excellent at what she did. She always had a smile on her face. I mean, she was an amazing and an outstanding person. And that's why she got the job. And that job became her career. And she stayed with us until the end. I mean, she was, in my opinion, the heart of the company. She was as passionate about it, sometimes more passionate about it than Tim and I were, more than Rob. And I hold her in the highest respects. And while she was here, I was going to ask her, tell us about your education. And I believe her education was self-taught through what we did. I mean, she ran a multi-million-dollar company, and she figured it out. And I think that's important too, because in our generation, if you didn't go to college, I mean, they would tell you you're an idiot. You're going to fail. You're just not going to make it. And here's somebody, no education, zero education. You don't have an education. I didn't think you went to school all the way in school. Very educated man. So you're throwing off my story here. But still, I feel it's important for people to understand that you can find success on a very, very high level, to me, without having to have the means or the ability to go get that expensive education, or to have the opportunity to go get that. And I think this is something where we'll talk back and forth quite a bit. Is I believe it's how you present yourself. Do you want that opportunity? Are you willing to grow? Are you willing to give the sacrifice? Are you motivated? Do you want it? And will you just keep pushing yourself to go to the next thing? We talked yesterday about if you're at McDonald's and you're working on the fries, maybe if you work really hard, you'll get to be the cook, and maybe you max out there. And we talk about this a lot. I know that where I made it, that was my max. That's as high as I could make it. That's the French fry guy going to the cook is the same story. If that's your max out, and that's where your goal is, or if that's where you're at, that's just as impressive. I think success is, to me personally, it's not a financial number. It's not having a fancy car. It's simply being my best, being my best. And that's what I want Powerhouse to be. Is just we did something really hard and creative, and now we have this foundation. Hopefully, it'll allow other people to be the best, because this dream team allowed me to have the foundation to to present that. And so
Tom, let me relate a quick story. Tom and I met with a company that was 30 to 40 times bigger than us. They were nationwide. We won't mention who it is, but the father was the CEO, and he had 3 sons. Now, the father had a high school education. The 3 sons all went to college and got master's degrees and all that crap. And we're in the room talking, and father looks around the room, and he said, "You 3," pointed to me, "you got all this education. him and me, we made it through high school, but we're in charge.
Yeah.
We're in charge.
Yeah.
Yep.
I remember Royal saying,
Yeah.
he goes, I'm the dumbest person in this room. And I said, no, I'm the dumbest person in this room. 'Cause he ended up going to education or getting something, and I'll always remember that.
Yeah.
That was
and
funny.
my grandson once said to me, I always remember when somebody told me about management, if you're the smartest person in the room, you're in the wrong room.
Yeah.
You need to go somewhere else where people are smarter than you. Otherwise, you're never going to get anywhere. You don't ever want to be the smartest one in the room.
Yeah.
So I think it's a good story. But education and success and smarts, those three things, they don't have anything to do with each other.
Yeah, they're kind of independent in a way.
They
It's
really are.
I feel like education sort of tries to give you a structure and to teach you a certain way of structure, but then I've just finished my first semester of grad school. Once you sort of get out of undergrad, it's like, well, now there's no structure at all. Now you're trying to figure out your own thing instead of trying to follow some other structure that somebody's made for you. So you kind of get to combine a little bit of that chaos and that craziness with that order and organizing things a little bit.
Yeah, the first class I went to at University of Chicago in their MBA program, professor gets in front of the room and says, here's the book. If you want to come to class, you can come to class. We're not going to have quizzes. I'm not going to give you any grade for participation. We're not going to have a midterm. Your whole grade's going to be on the final. I'll see you.
Yeah.
Holy.
Yeah. So at that point, it's not.
It's like, whoa.
Yeah.
No structure.
Yeah. At that point, it's not following somebody else's idea of what a good grade is. You're totally fully responsible as yourself for doing that and becoming the best that you can be.
Yeah.
Sort of just how you said, like that's what success is to you.
Yeah.
I think that question too is a good point to like ask just straight up, what is success in our views, and how might that differ a little bit from person to person?
Yeah, I like to hear it from everybody. Let's go in a circle.
Start with Pat.
It's a great question. Success, I would say, when I was younger, success would have been defined by myself as money, right? I want to make a bunch of money and I want to have plenty of it. As you get older, you have kids and life moves on. Success has a different meaning now.
Mm-hmm.
So today, I guess my idea of success would be to wake up every day and try to be the best version of myself and to give back and help other people out. I did a Y test, I think earlier this year, and it was to have an impact, make a difference on somebody. So that's kind of the direction I'm going now. I just want to help people achieve their goals and help them be successful, like in their eyes. What's their definition of success? But today I have a different meaning of success, a different definition than what I did in the past. So
What's a why? What does that mean? What did you go do?
I just wanted to learn, I just want to know what my why is. What is my purpose in life? And it was a test that you do with a lady, and I don't go in there with any objective other than just a lady told me to go do this. I have a business coach that kind of helped us structure our company, and she's like, I need you to go do this Y test. And I'm like, I have no idea what that is, but sure, okay. So I went and did it, and the lady told me what my why was. I'm like, all right, that makes a lot of sense because I do enjoy helping people, and I did.
Nice.
Yeah, was that why helping people, or was that something specific? Do you want to share that?
Well, the why, was to make an impact on somebody's life.
Yeah.
So that's what I try to do now.
Mm-hmm.
And once you know what your purpose is, your why, once you know that, it changes how you wake up every day. It changes, it's easy. Life's easy now. I know what my mission is.
And I feel that just from the conversations that we have, why I asked you to come to this part of it was I see you now as Rob. I see you guys as very, very similar. We're in the beginning stages of our business creation. The team that I had you were not. Like you weren't ready to listen. And
Yeah, I mean, exactly. And I was going to say that, and I'll interrupt you because I was the complete opposite of like everybody here. I was more of a critic than understanding, so I didn't understand like the role you were trying to take and play. And my mindset was, well, if you own the company and you're trying to build it, then you need to be there every day. You need to be, the first one there and the last one to leave every day. And that's just how I kind of, lived my life. And I gave it my all. And then, I saw you, working basically.
Sitting at home.
Yeah, sitting at home, not
Yeah.
doing anything. I'm like, well, this sucks. It must be nice,
Yeah.
And I didn't understand it. I didn't have the mindset to understand it.
Yeah.
It was more just like, well, why am I out busting my ass all day and you're able to sit at home all day, And, I just didn't get it.
Yeah.
But, where I'm at today, I do get it.
Yeah.
And it makes total sense.
Yeah.
I wish that I would have had the mindset change a long time ago, but I'm a believer that everything happens for a reason, and everything is kind of mapped out for us in life. So it just wasn't my time to have that mindset change.
Yeah.
So here I am today.
Yeah.
I totally understand it, and but I had to go through that process. So like I feel like, we're 2 years into the process, so we're kind of behind the ball or behind you guys as far as time goes, but it's completely changed everything in our companies, and it allowed us to acquire 2 other companies on top of what we currently have, and it would not have been possible had we not gotten organized and got to like where you guys are at. So, and I think it's just it's I don't know, I don't say it's impossible to not be this way, but again, you're going to hit a ceiling and you can't go any farther, and you can't scale until you get everything figured out, get a team in place, get organized. And then once you do that, then you get your freedom back. And that's really kind of one of the reasons why you build a company is you want that freedom. Well, it's money. And then once you start making money, it's like, well, I want the freedom. I want to be able to do whatever I want to. I want to be able to go on vacation. But if you're working full time in your company, you're not working on the company, and you can't even take a vacation unless your company says you can take a vacation. The company owns you, it controls you, and that's where I was at. It owned and controlled everything I did. I was making money, but I couldn't do anything with it. I couldn't enjoy it.
And that's what taps most people out.
It is. It was. I was almost, and I was there, and I was like, well, this can't go on any longer. I mean, this has to stop. So, you start thinking like, well, I'll start selling some stuff off. I'll sell off one of the companies, and I'll go buy those 2, and life will be better. And just thank goodness I had a mindset change and was able to organize.
You're willing to change. You're willing to do the hard work.
Yeah. I mean, you have to want to. Again, kind of going back to what Tim said. Like you guys weren't ready. For like Rob. So that's what, it kind of goes back to. I wasn't ready. Like if I would have met Rob early on, I'd be like, this guy's crazy. Like, one, I can't afford to pay you. 2, I'm not going to listen to you.
Yeah.
Like what you're saying doesn't even make sense to me. So I just wouldn't even listen to you. Now I understand it. I get it. I'm here. But yeah, I mean, going back to what Tim said, you guys just weren't ready.
Yeah. And that's why you're here now, because I want to help. My goal is to help. That wasn't my why. So I did the why test too. And my why was actually trust. So I don't even understand what a why is. She just right off the bat she goes, oh, trust is super important to me. I'm like, okay, well, what's my why? She goes, it's trust. So I
still don't understand.
I don't know what that means either, but I mean, just like wham, trust. But trust is super, super important to me, and it's back to just like Tim trusted me. We created a partnership, and like we dominated. Rob trusted me, dominated. Pat trusted me, we dominated. So I've surrounded myself by people that motivated me, that are better than me at something, and believed in me. That was it. Like that's all I needed.
And to touch on that, you're right, because when I trusted you, and so if you said I need more trucks, more trailers, it was just like that. Like, well, I trust Tom 100% that if he says I need them, we're going to get them. Yep. It wasn't like, well, are you sure? Let's see your financials. Let's, like, you sure we really need more? It was always whatever you wanted, we'll make it happen.
Yeah. And because of that, so me and Tim, when we were making decisions, I always treated you as you were me. Mm-hmm. So I'm like, I'm never going to make a decision that I wouldn't do. So I would always hold off, or I would forecast. Rob would help me forecast. I'm like, okay, I know we're solid. This is what we're doing, and that's how we did it. And your friendship and your support, hands down, was the foundational piece of what I did, and but you didn't sit in on our, on the dream team side of things, because I didn't have anybody that was not employed sit in on them, but your mindset wasn't ready.
Oh yeah.
At that time. But the reason you're sitting here right now is, and I feel like you've taken that even to the next level, greater than, the way that we had things set up was through what we did and your experience and how you do it, and you're even getting organized even more and greater. And so it's pretty cool to see. I feel you passed what I've done, and anytime I met with somebody, I would always say, if there's a greener grass or a better ship to get on, take it. I never wanted to hold anybody back. I never wanted somebody to stick with me if they could go somewhere else and do better. And that's something I feel is important in success, is to recognize opportunity, but also to recognize when there is not. And a lot of our positions were, once you got there, you're done. There's nowhere to leave. Like, you're stuck on fries on the whole time. And I would recommend for people that are looking to be better or do different things, recognize, is it time for you to go? Is it time for you to do somewhere else? If you want to make it here, if you want to be the cook and there's only one cook and he's not leaving, I would look for other opportunity. And I'm a big fan, and don't leave an opportunity until you have another opportunity. Because when you're starving to death, you're going to take something that might just fill the position because you're starving to death. So think about what you do, play your moves, and just do your best to put yourself in a position where you can always move yourself up and do better and be respected for that. And I think it's Tim to tell us what success is about.
So I was just thinking, I view, we've all been successful, so our view of successful now is going to be different than before, because I guess, like you said, you can make tons of money, but if you're miserable making tons of money, it's not worth making tons of money. So so from a business point, I'd say learning to have people under you that you can trust to pass stuff off, to where I'd say me and Tom are the two hardest workers I know besides Pat. Pat can outwork anybody. But and that was probably part of his problem. Pat could do, if we needed 20 trucks a day, Pat would drive 20 trucks a day and make it work. But when you learn to let others, and find good people, that's a sidetrack. But
no, I think it goes with it.
So I'd say just where I'm at now in my personal life, I'd say just success would be just waking up and whatever you're gonna go do that day for your job or whatever, enjoy it. If you're miserable going to your job, keep that job until you got something else lined up. But do something. If you're miserable, if you're negative, nobody's gonna want to be around you. You're not gonna want to be around yourself. I'd say just do something you enjoy doing. When my wife first came to work for us, so she worked at the State Farm, she was miserable. She came home every day miserable. And we were just ready for somebody to take over. So I'd go to work tomorrow and quit. You can come work for us, figure it out. But she thought she needed to climb the corporate ladder, and she started to, and she hated it. So if if you're gonna come home every day and like cry because you hate your job, like, you know, look into something else, you know, find something else and go pursue it. Like, I don't listen to like podcasts. The only one I ever listen to is Gary Vaynerchuk.
Oh yeah, he's good.
So like he always says and always sticks with me, but like if you can make $50,000 a year and be happy, it's way better than making $150,000 a year and being miserable.
Yeah.
You know, like everyone thinks money is success. You know, I'd say being comfortable, you know, is probably good enough as long as you can enjoy, you know, what you're doing every day and have time to go do something else you enjoy.
There you go.
I agree with all that. And what he was talking about, Christine, like I gotta give her a shout out because Tim and Christine actually worked together because Tim oversaw like the office side of things, but Christine did all of my personal projects. So like if I needed something, research, development of some kind, or I just had an idea, she was on it. Like she always treated me, just never questioned me, never asked me, well, why are we doing this? She just did it, and it was amazing. And so that kind of triggered me to think about something else that was important. Me and you have crossed the country. We've left the United States. We have explored, going through things. Never one time ever, when I had an idea or a vision, not one time did you say, well, why are we doing this? Or this doesn't make sense. You never said that once, ever. You never questioned me. You never said, well, maybe we should think about it from this viewpoint. You always said, okay. And if what I did failed, you would say, oh, that didn't work. It was never I told you so. You know, it wasn't, you know, I don't know about that. And the other thing that I think is really important, you wouldn't tell me you wouldn't think it would work at the time, but if I told you we're going to do something and it worked, you would always say, I didn't think that was going to work, but it did. So you didn't tell me a negative until it was a positive, and you said, hey, I just wanted you to know that it doesn't work out. And man, we talk about this all the time, to have a negative person in the room, it just sucks the life out of the room. And, you know, we're all creatives. I mean, really artistically or what in business, you know, you got to think outside the box to survive. And man, you can't have somebody telling you no. I mean, you just cannot. John Nord, you know, local businessman, he said, yeah, if I want to run my head into a tree because I think money's going to come out, everybody on my team better say, run into it really fast. And I've stolen that. Like I said, if I want to hit my head on a tree because money's going to come out, I want you guys to say, all right, let's do this.
I want to video it first.
Yeah, absolutely. They'll get a lot of views.
Oh, yeah.
And you can have people question you. But it's a negative person. Like, you know, they might not drag you down right away, but like, it sucks the life out of you eventually.
Yeah, you can't have that. So.
Yeah, kind of like to go off what he just said. It's okay to like question some things because like, or maybe give your input. Like, hey, why don't you run your head into like the left side of the tree instead of the right? Because I think more money's going to fall on the left side. You know, you're not being negative. Like, hey, I'm just giving you some advice. Yeah. I think that left side's going to be better. You know, happy at your head, not mine.
Yeah,
you know?
and I'll take that.
Yeah.
Just this. So you know, in the artwork, you know, on the tattoo one that we just did, you know, Ricky talked about. You know, it's important to be kind of on the downside and listen to criticism. It's definitely helpful, but it's also important to be on the upside and to have people support. Like, hey, man, all right. And Christine always did that. Not one time did Christine say, you know, I don't think I would do that. Just all right, just get it done.
Yeah. That's actually sort of a school of thought that's been evolving in the arts for a while, is like taking a little bit of a critical look, but seeing the beauty in something like that. And in a way that kind of goes to my definition of success, which is closer to sustainability than anything. Sustainability not only for yourself, but for the next generation and for your kids and people past that and the community at large a little bit. So like having some of those uncomfortable moments, like comfort is a part of success, but also sometimes you have to be a little bit uncomfortable. You have to be willing to take that. Sometimes a negative person is coming at you with something in a very maybe negative way, and they're trying to say something. There's something that means a lot to them deep down, but it can be hard to view what they're saying in a way that you sort of have to get a little bit uncomfortable to see that in a way. So, and I think showing up as your best is a big part of what it is, but doing that just for the people around you, not even necessarily for you.
Yeah.
Success is sort of, to me, about your relationships and how you relate to people around you and what they can take from you rather than sort of like what you can kind of teach them in a way. It kind of sounds the same, but if you know what I mean.
So kind of based off of what you said when I said I don't like criticism, I don't. But it depends on who it came from and what level it came at. So if somebody wanted to criticize me from the top, I'm like, okay, when I met you, you said, Tom, I'm going to be your friend at the top. I didn't understand what you're talking about. Until a
I
little
know you
bit.
didn't.
I'm like, I understand now what he's talking about, because the person that's running our business at this level and down, he's missing this amount of information because we're doing this. From this viewpoint, it looks like what I am doing makes no sense. From here down, you're just like that makes no sense. Well, you're missing a big gap. And so I have a hard time getting that criticism when it's just like, no, this is what we're doing, this is how we're doing it. But when I'm in the group of people that are helping me make decisions, I will accept it, I will listen to it. So I needed a better to take that. So criticism from the person that's driving by, no, I don't want to, that's offensive. But criticism from somebody that's playing the game, all right. But there's also times where I want none. Like, I have thought about this so much. And because if I listen to the critics, if I listen to the opposition, if I listen to no, you can't do that. None of us would have anything, because we've all fought the critics, we've all fought the opposition, we've all fought the person that's using the rules in the wrong way as an abuse of power. And that makes me sick, and that's what I fight today. And so I wanted to explain that.
Well, I think it's obvious that you don't take the criticism. I mean, look where we're sitting. I mean, look what you built here. I mean, I know you don't listen to the outside people.
Yeah, and so it's not, if you listen to that, if you listen to those critics, or those critics get power to stop that, people can stop great things. And that's how I met you. That was stopped from people not understanding what it was that you were wanting to do, from what you were trying to accomplish. But I also think some of the people that were on your team were so intelligent, they weren't able to communicate to people on a lower level. So both sides I see played a role. You guys were you were so far ahead of the time that people couldn't understand it, and you could not explain it on a level that Joe Schmo could understand. And I felt I saw that, but I was just a dumb idiot in the room, and nobody would listen to me. Where I was a non-educated guy in the room, and I said, okay. Yeah. And where I feel you guys failed was some of your team wasn't listening, and it was so complicated. I mean, that was a complicated endeavor.
Yeah, and it was hard to dumb it down, frankly. But when I was the bank president helping companies like yours and other ones, if it was the kind of company with the kind of people that I wanted to help, we'd have a conversation early on, and it would go like this. You've earned a right to fail in certain things. You've earned that. So if you want to do something and I don't agree with it, I'm going to tell you the reasons I don't agree with it, and then I'm going to support whatever decision you want to make. Because you've earned the right to fail. Now, if that failure is going to take your whole company down, and my bank with it, we're going to have a problem. But very seldom are business owners stupid enough to risk the whole company on something. They're usually risking a part of it. So that is, if you've earned the right to fail, then you ought to be able to fail. It's that simple.
I've never heard you say that. I like that a lot.
Yeah, you've earned it. It's okay. Go ahead. And take that failure and use it to be successful the next time in something even more important.
Yeah.
Not that easy. Now, you said something earlier. You probably wouldn't have been able to afford me at the time. And Tom said, I have to trust. When we negotiated how much he was going to pay me, I said, Tom, how much can you afford? And he came up with a number, and I said, okay. Now, I knew that if I were consulting, that I should probably get at least 4 times that.
Yeah.
But I wasn't consulting with Tom and Tim because I wanted the money. I was consulting with Tom and Tim because I saw the possibility of building something really great.
Yeah.
And whatever they could afford, fine. We negotiated 3 or 4 times how much I should get paid. There was no negotiations. It was, okay, what can you afford now?
You tell me that now, right?
Yeah, now I'm telling you.
Wish you would have told me like 10 years ago. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
So my definition of success, when I was in high school, I wanted to be one of 2 things. I either wanted to be the first baseman for the Chicago White Sox, because I was a damn good baseball player, or I wanted to be a Supreme Court justice. And I quickly found out that as hard as I worked and as good as I was, that I was not going to be the White Sox first baseman. There was, I didn't lack dedication, I didn't lack teamwork, I didn't lack leadership, I lacked talent. I didn't have major league talent. Supreme Court justice has to be really smart. I'm sort of smart. I knew that I was never going to be smart enough to be a Supreme Court justice. I wouldn't get my law degree and then have to be a judge and I didn't have it. So my 2 main goals in life were something that I knew that I was never going to achieve. So I went some other direction. I got my education, I became a leader, and I developed teams. I actually reviewed documents that lawyers prepared, so I was a level above that. And I played baseball and softball until I was in my late 40s. I have trophies to prove that I was still really good at baseball. So my vocation was to build teams in the business world to achieve things. And helping Tom and Tim was one of my success stories. That's what I consider success. I helped them do something. Mm-hmm. If you ever go to Luca Grill, the 2 guys that own that, they own that because I put the package together for them to be able to buy it. Mm-hmm. And when they said, what's it going to cost me? I said, I'm going to tell you what. It's going to cost you what you think it was worth. And they said, well, what's your hourly rate? And I said, well, my hourly rate's $100 an hour, but don't worry about that. When you succeed and you actually have it bought, we're going to have another conversation. I'm going to ask you what you thought it was worth. And they said, what if we don't get it? Then I said, then you don't pay me. And they said, really? I said, really. They're successful. I'm happy. They paid me more than I thought I was going to get, but it was up to them to decide that. That's my success, that I've helped other people achieve their success, and I got rewarded for doing it because I helped them, not because how much they paid me, because they decided how much to pay me, I didn't. So success is just being happy in what you're doing, and I happen to like being a leader and developing teamwork and seeing other people succeed.
What I like about what you said was you were realistic with yourself.
Yeah, that was hard.
What really bothers me is when I see anybody blame the next guy as to why they're not successful.
Yeah.
I'm not successful because this person.
Yeah.
You didn't make it. You recognized you weren't going to be able to. You didn't give up. You took a different path.
Yeah.
And I struggle with that with myself because I look at it as in my career, I only made it here when I could have made it here because all these rules and regulations were holding me back. That's not true at all. That's just part of the game, and I had to accept it.
Yeah.
And that's exactly where I'm at right now. Like, there's the rules that I'm fighting. They're not holding me back. It's just part of the game. And I need to accept that's part of the game, and it's not an excuse. So no matter where I'm at, it's just part of it, and I can't blame anybody else. And I have to remind myself of that all the day, all the time. No, it's not. It's not the city holding me back. That's just part of the game, and I need to play the game, stay focused, and be realistic with myself. You and I talked about originally when we were going to do this, when I wanted to do this podcast about, hey, this is the dream team. This is what's holding this to me. This is what's holding this up. I don't make opinion artwork. My income and to be able to do it comes off investments that were created through what we did. Now, I believe that will turn, or I'd probably still do it, but I have to have it. The fruit has to produce. The tree has to produce fruit, right? And I thought that's where we would be off a little bit, because I feel there's no reason for somebody to be successful. And then I kind of felt you were just like, well, in today's environment or market, there's these things holding us back, and I kind of feel like that's where we're going to be.
Yeah. It is pretty complex. Yeah, it goes back to sort of that difference that you were talking about before a little bit, where you said at some point someone on the top isn't necessarily going to listen to the criticism from someone not at the top. They might, there might be some truth to that, but like, in a way, you have to listen and incorporate a little bit of what that person is saying, even if they don't understand. And if that form is better communication, like we mentioned, sort of communicating that outwards to those people, sort of saying, this is our strategy, this is what we're doing, this is why we're doing it, and this is how we're going to improve that, and how we're going to appeal to that thing that is holding you back, because it is pretty structurally. So you sort of mentioned opinion art. Can you sort of tell me what that is? I'll come back.
Understand.
You said something about like we don't make opinion art. I'm just
not
curious.
really sure. I don't know what you mean by that.
I don't know. It was just a second ago. You said opinion art. I don't know exactly what it is, but
While you're thinking of it,
yeah,
you mentioned that somebody up here is making decisions. Somebody down here only has information from down here.
yeah,
You have a perfect example. You went to grade school with somebody who stood up in your wedding, who became our manager.
Yeah.
He drove you friggin' nuts because he always was coming up with ideas on how to improve things, and it worked from here down, but he didn't know what was going on up here, and it was going to screw up something bigger. So you had to learn how to live with somebody who kept giving you ideas that really didn't work, but his heart was in the right place, and he worked hard.
yeah.
It's hard.
Yeah.
The solution finally was have him work with me more than you.
There's a balancing.
Just a mediator.
Yeah.
Mediation, and I feel you're really good at that now on what you do, on how you've got your your tiers set up, or I don't know to explain to us how you are set up now.
Yeah, what organized our companies was EOS. I don't know if you guys have heard of EOS, Entrepreneur Operating System. So we have the visionary, the integrator, then basically accountability chart. And right now I'm kind of playing two roles as the visionary and the integrator. The integrator would be more like your maybe like the CEO of a company, and so I'm kind of playing two roles, and then from there we kind of have the accountability chart broken down. You have operations, you have HR, sales and marketing. I guess I'm kind of in that role as well, too. And then below these boxes are other jobs and another classifications. So everybody it holds everybody accountable in their boxes, and because it has what their jobs are in each box, and that way say like HR. So we have somebody in HR, which is my wife, so she's over there, and so she's responsible for X amount of things, and that way that box is kind of narrowed down. And you can't go, well, I think someone's supposed to do it, or something. Yeah. It's like, no, this person does it. It's in their box. They're responsible for it. If it doesn't get done, it's on them, and you hold them accountable for it. So
The accountability
That's exactly
part.
100%
Yeah.
how you were set up.
Yeah.
You just called it something different. You had different names for it.
Yeah, they're just job descriptions, organization charts,
yeah,
whatever.
it's just at the end of the day, it's an accountability chart. It holds
That's
everybody accountable,
Yeah.
and it takes away the chaos.
Yeah.
Because, I'm just going to use my companies for example. Say a truck driver, has a mechanical problem. They're not going to, go to the HR department with their mechanical problem.
Right.
They're going to go to the mechanic. And then there's a structure to it. Now in the past, I did it all. I was the HR. I was the driver. I did it all, and it's just chaos.
He was Phil.
yeah. I was doing it all. It just doesn't work.
No, it doesn't work.
And kind of whatever else. I mean, if you love what you do, it's not work.
That's right.
I absolutely love what I do every day. I wake up and I love life every single day.
Yeah. Now if Jen were here, I would still say this. When we did the organization chart, you got a CEO, co-CEO, chief executive officer, a COO, chief operating officer. We had a BIC. And I mentioned it at one meeting. And
Kind of get an idea what that stands for. But I'm not going to say it out loud. Yeah.
You ready to do the meetings? Jen looked at me and said, "What?" I said, "That's you. You're the bitch in charge."
Yeah.
It was that simple.
Yeah.
And she pulled it off. I mean, because she could be compassionate. I heard her on the phone when people called in and complained, and she was nice.
She always said talk with a smile. On the phone.
On the phone.
Yeah. Talk with a
But
smile.
at some point, if she got pushed beyond what she thought was reasonable, she was a bitch in charge.
Yeah,
She flipped the switch.
Yeah, she did. She flipped the switch, and you better listen because she's only going to say it once.
Yeah.
From the outside too, just as an outside, I would say contractor, that was working for you guys. One, I remember Jen working for the Nextel store. She was amazing there, but she was the heart of the operation. I felt like everything kind of flowed through her.
Mhm.
And when you need something done, like call Jen. That was the go-to, call Jen and see what's going on.
And then she spread it out. So I feel if we have a generation gap, because between me and you is a big age. I'm 50 or 24 or whatever.
Yeah.
And I feel just listening to conversations, seeing things on social media, there's a lot of blame. Well, I'm not successful because this person's holding me back, or I can't do this because of that. And I hear that, and it really bothers me because it's a lot of people feel there's a pie, and that's all. This is it. We got this pie, and I want my biggest piece. And if we have somebody at the top that's selfish, they're keeping the pie. And it's always going to be the case. There's always going to be a selfish person that wants more than their fair share of pie. But I don't agree to that. I think there's many, many, many pies, and we can't focus on a selfish person holding the pie. I think you need to focus on, how do I get my piece of pie, or how do I get myself in the door to better myself. And I feel like there's just a lot of blame. Well, I can't do this because blah blah blah.
Yeah.
And I strongly, passionately feel, no, and I did this. I would say I only made it here because these people and the rules and regulation are keeping me back. That was part of the game.
Yeah.
And I never gave up, but it was hard. It sucked the life out of me.
Yeah.
And it did hold me back, but that was part of the game.
Yeah. I think what's hard to understand necessarily in this situation is a little bit of that generation gap, and a lot has changed even in the past few years. There's been a lot of sort of structurally objective things that make that sort of seeing the different pies, that sort of subjective look at things. It's again that story where you can only reach that once you do that. You mentioned wanting to do opinion art. So you said, we'll do opinion art once we get there. That's a sort of subjectivity where you get to have an opinion. At a certain point, maybe the ways in which things work are so structural where you sort of just have to focus on other things before you even get there. So it's I mean, even through things like the media, like there's a sort of machine that's altering sort of what people see out there. So only some people will see this and others won't. So kind of just that generation gap. My personal experiences and what I've seen through my media probably has been a totally different view of the world than you have seen.
Right.
So
We grew up without that, thank God.
yeah, but even now it actually thrives and benefits off of that sort of fragmenting people apart and separating people and isolating them into who they are.
Okay.
That's sort of one of the things that I'm researching right now. But I think more the point is too, they're like, it does take that person at the top to listen. It a little bit, like as much as the person at the bottom can be screaming for help, if the person at the top has that sort of mindset that they don't even have to listen at all, then that's something different. Whereas it's worth listening at least, and that doesn't necessarily mean that needs to alter exactly how you do every single thing, but like considering that.
So we do chain of command. Like, you know, if you're upset, you talk to this person. This person filters it out, and they take it here, they take it here. And the person at the very, very bottom has zero business talking to the person at the top. So I think if you're going to look at that viewpoint, I mean, if everybody goes to the person at the top, he's overloaded. Now he's going to hear nobody. But if the person that's upset, this is his top. He needs to talk to that person and work hard to get to that level. And once you're at that level, hey, guess what? Now you've been recognized. You've worked really hard. Now you get to talk, you know, to this person. That's how I would respond back to that.
To a point, it's like so structural that something from there isn't ever going to move up in a way. So
See, and I think it does. Like, I think it would.
And there is that, but part of why Christine didn't like working at State Farm, you get in a box, and if the person that you report to isn't with you on things, your idea is never going to go anywhere.
And you're stuck.
And
and that's an objective hard line right there.
Yeah.
But my point is then and I said this earlier, then recognize there is no more opportunity. Like, where you are at, you are done. So it's your job, it's your responsibility I'm going to go to this next. Now I know that's hard. And
to a degree, it's like sort of
like you just can't, and you're stuck.
Yeah, it's sort of an existence rather than like a choice of going somewhere else. Like that person doesn't have a choice.
Yeah. And I know that, and that's where people made the comment. Well, just because you did it doesn't mean somebody else can. I admit that.
Yeah. So to me, success is that listening from both sides, and is that considering a little bit. It's like that's what gives you sustainability long term, is by having leadership communicate with every employee and have a relationship and set that tone. Really, setting the tone is what I think.
Yeah, you get back to that, and George Bernard Shaw said something, and Robert Kennedy kept repeating it when he would run for office, and I repeated it when I ran for office. It's simple. Some men see things as they are and ask why. I dream of things that never were and ask why not. That's the difference between a real leader and somebody else. You have your ideas, you're that visionary, you have your dreams, and you're going to bump your head and you're going to fail, but you've earned the right to fail. You bump your head again until you succeed. You see things and you dream and you go for it. It's a great quote. I love it.
Yeah, that's a good quote. I do like that, And I mean, something that I kind of explain to all my people that work for me is, you know, if I have a one-on-one conversation, I want them to be happy with where they're at. Yeah. And, you know, whether it's hauling trash to the landfill, you know, towing a vehicle, making mulch, whatever it may be, it's not a glamorous job. But I explain to them, like, you know, if you're not happy, like, I want you to leave. Because, again, it kind of goes back to that negativity. It spreads like, you know, cancer. Yeah. And so I encourage anybody that works for me, you know, hey, I'll help you. Like, you know, tell me where you want to go. Like, tell me what you want to do. I'll see if I can get you there. You know, because you got to be happy. If anybody shows up to work that's with that negative attitude, like you talked about earlier, it just brings the whole entire crew down, and it just doesn't work. And I will not tolerate it.
So you're a good leader. He recognizes
Yeah.
that he wants to help his people out.
Yeah, so they don't.
And you were saying,
have
maybe
to
that
be
leader
in that
doesn't listen. Well, you know what? Maybe you're tapped out. Find somebody
Yeah.
that will listen and help you go as high as you can help you go. Like, you can't ask for anything better than that. And I know some people won't have it. I went out to dinner last night, and when I told myself I went out to dinner, I'm like, whoever sits next to me, I'm talking to them. And so the kind gentleman at the bar, this is what I'll call this guy, I asked him, I said, what's success? And he said, well, what the simple one is simply having a kind heart. He goes, but what I would like to say is the ability to help somebody and want nothing in return.
Mm-hmm.
He goes, that's success. And I just told the guy, I'm really happy that you didn't say anything about money. He goes,
Yeah.
so I think that he goes, money does not make you happy.
No.
And it was a really cool conversation. He was the only person in the restaurant, so I was going to ask everybody. And he was the only person in it. And my personal belief on success is, for me personally, I want to be able to do whatever it is I want to do every day. That's it. I want to be able to have the ability to get up and do what I want to do, and just be my best at doing what I'm doing, and try to remain kind. Like, to me, that's my success.
Be kind without expecting anything in return.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that part.
Yeah.
Like for
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
I saw Pat at the gas station like 2 weeks ago, and he bought my $1.50 drink, which it's $1.50, but it's like it just makes your day.
Yeah.
But I would say but do that, and Pat didn't do this, but buy somebody's meal at dinner, and don't post it on Facebook that you bought something.
Yeah.
If you
Exactly. Yeah.
If you post it on you're
Yeah,
getting
it's for the camera.
So
Yeah.
It's
you're not
for
doing
the
it.
It's not genuine. It's not authentic.
You're not
Yeah.
doing it to be kind. Like that's we do every we haven't done it for a while, but we used to go to Denny's for pancakes, and I would just buy randos, recommend it. He's but don't take a picture of it. Don't
Yeah.
Just do it.
don't tell the waitress to tell them it was from you. Just do it.
Yeah.
Don't expect anything in return.
It's when you say that. I mean, one, I always try to tell everybody, smile at everybody, smile and say hi, because somebody could be having a really bad day, and that one smile, holding the door for somebody just that one time. I mean, that could make somebody's day from going far, left to making a right turn. I mean, it could change their day dramatically, and and expect nothing in return. In the towing world, a lot of stuff is based on reviews. The Google reviews, you gotta get the good reviews, right? I mean, you can buy reviews. We give a discount if you leave a good review. Some of our most generous and best stories, they're not on our Google reviews. It's just us helping people. Because everybody's having a bad day when they call us, and that's a tough business to get into, because I'm always like, hey, how's it going? Anybody that interacts with me, I'm like, hey, how's your day going? Well, as soon as we took over a towing company, it's like, well, I'm not having a good day if I called you.
Yeah.
So it's real challenging mentally.
Yeah.
It was for me early on. So I mean, that's just my natural reaction to anybody.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, they're having a really bad day. So
A lot. Yeah.
yeah, I had to start kind of in our very first meeting that we had with the employees at the companies that we bought. I said, hey, look, everybody is human. We all have bad days, but you're gonna have to put if you're having a bad day, you're gonna have to kind of put your feelings aside to help the customer, because they're having a bad day as well.
Yeah.
And two people's bad attitudes. I mean, two negatives are going to create a negative.
Mm-hmm.
So try to put your bad day aside, help the person out, make their day better, and then get back to what's going on with you. I'm not saying it's not important.
Yeah.
It's very important.
Yeah.
But let's try to be the professional person here. Set your feelings aside. Help somebody.
Yeah.
out.
To me too. Just to be able to sit there and be present with that person in their being upset, and to listen to what they're saying,
Yes.
and not necessarily just keep going on with your day how you were, but to recognize that person is going through something, and now you have the ability to help them because you've heard that. So just that to me is a big part of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I agree.
So something that I feel is really important, this is in life, art, business, I call it playing the game. And I would say a lot of people have no clues on what Phil Dick, the director of building and zoning, great man, super intelligent. He's not done nothing but shown me, great respect over the years. And not too long ago, I walked in there and he just said, "You're really good at playing the game." And I knew he always recognized the game. When I met Rob, I told Rob, when you're doing it, I'm like, "Rob, you guys don't understand the game." And I felt like you didn't have a clue what I was talking about.
Not at that time.
There was a game, and I'm a master at playing it. I was always able to stay 4 or 5, 6, 7 moves ahead of people because I recognized the game. And for the people that don't understand what I'm talking about, I can't even explain it, but whatever it is that you're in, if there's more than one person, you're in the game. And
it's the act of relating. Yeah,
it is. But it's also the steps in the process of achieving your goals. And this is, and where I was really proud of Pat is, you would say things to me way back in the day, like, "I can't believe, you're gonna do this," and I wasn't talking about the game. But now we play the same game. Like, when we're talking about, there's always great opportunity when something goes really, really bad. Play the game. Or when somebody treats you very poorly, don't give it back.
Yeah.
It's an opportunity to make a friendship or a relationship. And when somebody would treat me really bad, and Tim would be like, "Oh, never, we're not dealing with it." I'm like, no, this is a great opportunity to shine. We're gonna treat this person even better. And it's playing the game. And I love talking to you now about playing the game. And we try to explain it to several people that we truly care about and would like to see them succeed more. Several people, and they're not playing the game yet. And it's really important. And I think one day when people talk about me when we're gone, I think what I really brought to the table the most are the things that people won't even know I did or understand how I did it. And I don't think I'll be recognized for the things that I said. I wish I'd be recognized for the things that I didn't, or not what I accomplished, but what I didn't do and still accomplish. It's pretty easy to run your mouth. It's very hard not to. But if you focus on the game, that's how you make it. So we made it a long ways, and the reason was it's because we played the game, and we played the game so well. The people that were put in place, it was their job to stop us. We had them. We did the game better.
To get in the right mindset to play that game, like how you have to lose your ego.
Yeah.
That's huge. You have to get rid of your ego, because I was ego driven before. I'm the best at what I do, so it's my way or the highway. And to lose kind of like what Tim was at, like, screw that person. I was right there with that kind of mentality, like, screw them, like they don't know who they're messing with, and
that sets you back.
It does.
Prove your point.
Yeah, I did. I agree. I'm agreeing with you.
Yeah.
But once you lose the ego, and it's tough. It's a tough switch to turn off. But once I was able to turn mine off, it's just gone forever. So it's great for my my own well-being.
Your temper was your weakness.
It was.
Your temper made you unpredictable.
It was.
And you being unpredictable was, I had to keep a little distance.
Yeah.
I didn't know if I was going to get angry, Pat.
Oh yeah.
Punching holes in the toolbox.
Yep.
Or where I was at, and once you had it under control, I'm super proud.
Yeah.
Because you worked a lot to get there.
It's funny because
you became Rob.
Fred.
Fred.
Yes. You figured it out.
Playing the game.
Yeah, the game.
Everybody should learn how to play chess. I don't care if you get good at it.
I think he'd be really good at chess.
Probably would.
Yes, he would.
You need to
He
be
has
able
patience
to
like
think
a cat.
3, 4, and 5 moves ahead and sacrifice this so that you can get something bigger on the third move. You sacrifice your ego when somebody pisses you off so that you can get something better down the road
Yeah.
because you've developed a relationship with that person. But learning how to play chess and think 3 and 4 moves ahead, boy, it just
Game
stays
changer.
with you whole
And
life.
it's hard to do. I have no
Yeah.
problem saying, I'm going to shoot this person in the room and mean it. Just like, like he told
Royal
us.
did.
It doesn't bother me a bit. Doesn't, I have no problem saying I have no idea what you're talking about. I don't understand it. I'll never be able to understand. I can't be a baseball player. I'm not going to be the justice on the Supreme Court. I know I can't. I'm not smart enough to do it. But if you break it down for me, like your reports, I had no idea how you got to those numbers. But when you gave me the number, I knew what I could do with it.
Yeah.
And I always save people time. We'd hire these people to do these reports. I don't care how you got there. It's not what I need to know. Give me the number, and I can understand it.
Yeah.
And I always like that you recognize that. You would give me credit. Like, most people won't understand it. I'm like, well, I don't understand how you got there, but I know what to do with the information that you gave me.
Yeah.
And I think that's why I've done well, because you're better than me at this. You're better than me at this. I'll do that with everybody, and now I'm just simply a good coach.
Yeah.
Now I can use all your skills to get our goal done. So I'm gonna play that game.
Yeah.
And
That's why you don't have to be the smartest person in the room. You have to
No,
have
no.
you have to have the ability to recognize
Yeah.
the smartest people in a particular category to create that team. So you're super good at this, you're super good at that. I'm going to build the team, and we'll go from there. So you never have to be the smartest person. You just got to be able to pay for the smart people.
A guy that helped me out a lot, he said, there's a lot of people that are way dumber than me that know more than I do on some things. Like, that's pretty cool to recognize that. I'm like, oh, okay,
Yeah.
okay. Yeah. And something else that I think is important is just simply to recognize that you don't have to agree with people. So I got this from Mike Evans. I was running my mouth, and this is back before I could listen, and I'm like, I can't believe these people are treating us this way, and this is crap, they're wrong. And he said, you're wrong because you think that they're wrong. And I was set back because I thought he was going to team up with me, right? Like, we were going to have this conversation about ripping on these people. And he said, you are the problem. He said, if you can't sit down and have a cup of coffee with your adversary, you are the problem. And that's where I feel your generation is horrible, because if we can't sit down and have completely different viewpoints and shake hands and be like, hey, I don't agree with you at all, but you're a good, you're a good person. That's where I think I struggle with your age group the most.
Yeah.
Is you could tell me you don't agree with me at all, 100%. It should be done in a professional manner.
Yeah.
And we ought to be able to lead him like, the guy's kind of an idiot, but I respect him, good for him.
Yeah.
I think not you, but just, I feel there's a lot of that
Yeah,
lacking.
I think part of that is to kind of a little bit of those structural things with that technology. You said to play the game, you have to drop the ego, and maybe this technology benefits off building up that ego in a way. And so it makes you sort of see the game in a certain way, whereas probably much of our generation is sort of realizing that the game functions in a certain way to achieve certain ends, when really maybe different ends would be a good goal. So sort of potentially just shifting that game to be towards something else a little bit. Figuring out how to work within the game to shift that game, probably.
Heck, if you only focus on one side, you're the person that's going to beat yourself.
Yeah.
Simple as that.
Yeah.
You're the guy that's going to lose.
Yeah.
Because you're not
That's
listening.
kind of a little bit like with playing the game. It's sort of like you're trying to benefit yourself and get steps ahead, when you do have to work with others in order to do that. It's both of them in the same way. I think it's a both and, the individual and the whole at the same time.
Yeah. You guys got any other things you want to cover? I'll go through some bullet points quick if you don't. So you've got a podcast coming up here that you're going to be on when? January?
January 8th, I think. Yeah.
All right.
It's Thursday, Las Vegas.
Okay. All right. Can you share a little bit about it with us?
Yeah, I mean, I'm excited to do it.
Okay.
Brad Lee, the real Brad Lee.
Okay.
Dropping Bombs podcast. So yeah, I'm excited to go on it. At the beginning of the year, I told Nikki that one of my goals this year was to get on a podcast.
Okay.
And so it's all about setting goals for, we got business goals, we got personal goals, and it was just one of my personal goals, and, I made it happen.
Good.
And I'm excited to
Now
do
you
it.
gotta try and do 2 of them.
Yeah, I know. But yeah,
It's gonna happen in January.
yeah, so Tom threw this one on me here, so I'm like, all right, so I met my goal, but yeah, I'm excited. Same thing, gonna just have some bullet points to talk about, and
Okay.
I get 1 hour is all I get, so
Okay.
we'll see how it goes, and yeah, I'm excited for it.
So what you've been doing, I've been following you and watching it. Just I appreciate it. I think a lot of people are benefiting off your new mindset. And in this group probably sees it the most because we were working with you before. You've taken that path, and I'm always proud of anybody that just tries to do better, and it's cool to see.
Yeah.
And I can tell you, in our circle, we're all talking about mindset now and change, and so I want to congratulate you on that.
Thanks, I appreciate it, but I mean, nobody's perfect, right? We're all human. I'm far from perfect. And so every day I feel like I do make mistakes, get setbacks, and it's okay.
Yeah.
It's okay to not be perfect.
Yeah.
And when I make mistakes, I'm like, okay, I gotta try to learn from them and not do that again. Sometimes I gotta touch the fire a couple times and realize that it's hot. That's just how I am. But yeah, I did start posting some videos earlier this year just to kind of get out of my comfort zone, but it was also because I was taking a coaching class that I started early, this year, and I got a great coach named Rob Fazzini, and he kind of pushed me and kind of called me out. So I'm like, busy day. You go down the road making excuses like I can't get to it today, but maybe tomorrow. That's just
Like
just,
sauna?
huh?
Like
Yeah,
the
I like the song. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's on my list of things.
Yeah. See.
Yeah, got me there. But yeah, so I'm just, again, it's part of my why I want to have an impact on somebody else's life, and so I started posting videos, and the response that I got it's overwhelming. I wasn't expecting it because they are just kind of raw, unedited videos of myself just talking, and people they're just texting me, messaging me, hey, thanks, I appreciate, I was having a bad day and I saw your video and, it made me have a better day. And my intentions early on was just to kind of maybe attract some small business owners that are kind of struggling, like how I was early on, and maybe I can go in there and kind of create some sort of structure for them. Because I feel like you gotta get the right mindset. If you're in the right mindset, you can create the right structure. And if you got the right structure and you maintain it with good discipline, you'll be able to have the freedom that you wanted, as like all small business owners kind of desire. So I was kind of going after that angle, or going with that angle, and I had some small business owners reach out. I was able to talk to them and kind of guide them and put them in the right direction, motivate them a little bit. So that felt good, but I was also getting people reaching out just on, the personal side of things. Like, hey, what did you do? So then what I did was kind of extreme. So I went down to Mexico and did psychedelics. And, so they kind of wanted to hear about my journey, and like how, what all did I get out of it and what all was I kind of going through. And so it's been interesting, I'll say that, to kind of have these conversations with people I wouldn't expect to have these conversations with, but they've reached out. So, I'm excited for the future, excited to see where things are going, are going to go, and go from there.
Cool.
Yeah.
So just a couple bullet notes that I made. Don't be scared of failure. Just get up. Pat did a little video on just like getting off the couch.
No. don't sit on the couch.
Okay, we'll get off the couch. Yeah.
Don't sit on the couch.
Okay. Just don't even sit on the couch.
Just walk by it.
Yeah.
Just walk by it. You
It's,
sit down, it's over with. It's a
it is
magnet.
over with. And just
You can't
you
get
know, if
back
something's
up.
on your mind, make today be the day. And I feel I'm trying to be so vocal about, you know, doing better because I have not done well. I've done well in business. Like, I'm super good at business. And I always talk about, but my personal life has always been, you know, kind of on the rocks a little bit, which I feel like I fixed. I'm the greatest version of me right now that I've ever been, because I focus on me and making me better. So I want to motivate people to do that, because it's just simply by not sitting on the couch, I was able to build something, you know, and create something. But I also wanted to give people the credit, you know, that allowed me to, you know, to be able to do what I'm doing now. And I just want people to just own up to it, don't make excuses, and just get out there and try. And it's easier to find success, whether it be this big or this big, and not sit on the couch and think about it, oh, I'll do it tomorrow. Just get up and go. When I talked about having dinner last night with that guy at the bar, I want to network. I want to meet another group of people, and I'm not going to do that sitting at home on Facebook. So I'm like, all right, I'm going to find places that I can go different nights. And last night was my first night, and I talked to a random guy and had a great conversation. Just don't give up. Just whatever it is that you want to do, just go out there and do it.
Take action.
Take action.
Action. Yeah.
Just take action.
Everyone has 24 hours in a day.
That's right.
And Arnold Schwarzenegger says sleep less.
Yep.
Just sleep less.
Just sleep less. There's no reason. Like you have time to do it. Recognize opportunity. I feel I am the master at simply recognizing opportunity. Like, that's it. I see opportunity in individuals and people. I'll see opportunity in, well, maybe there's somebody should do this. You know, when we were kids, we're all sitting around and somebody needs to build a ramp. I'm like, I'll build a ramp.
Yeah.
I was just that guy that would just step up and do it. So just recognize opportunity and just own it. And that's pretty much it. I think
We
that's
gotta
all
hear something from you. I don't know. What do you want people to hear? What do you think people should take into their lives and live with?
Yeah, we'll get back to, I think, what my parents instilled in my brother and me. My dad made it through 8th grade. My mom made it through 6th grade. She eventually got her degree at a community college after she was an adult. But they neither one were able to achieve what they needed to in life. My dad was a steel worker. He sold Christmas trees at Christmas time. He sold fireworks at 4th of July time. He had gumball machines all over town. But he didn't get up every day and say, boy, I can't wait to go to work, you know. And he made sure that my brother and me both had an opportunity to work in the steel mill that my uncle ran. So my one day off at the gas station, I worked in the steel mill, pouring molten iron. And he said, if you don't want to go to college, this is what you get. This ain't what I want.
Yeah.
And what my brother wanted, and it wasn't what my two cousins wanted, because my uncle gave both of them the same opportunity. All four of us have college educations. I think if you can find something you love getting up to do every day, which I did, which my brother did, because my parents gave us the opportunity to get the education to be able to choose something like that. That's the deal. And if you don't have an opportunity to get the education, that's fine. Fred didn't have the opportunity to get the education, but he loved what he did, and boy, was he good at it. He could go home every day and feel like the mail I put in the back of that house that day, because they were on vacation, and what I did with the kid because the kid was having a bad day and I had a smile, that's your life. Have a good day every day and look forward to it and enjoy it while you're doing it. I'm retired now. I love getting up in the morning and walking my dog at 5 below zero like I did yesterday.
Yeah.
Really? But
It's
I
good
love
to
that.
feel it.
I love that little dog, and she's worth it. So I don't mind 5 degrees below zero for a little walk in the morning because she's with me the rest of the day with my wife. It's great to be able to have that. Not many people did. My parents, neither one did, but they made sure that my brother and me did. Can't ask for more. And I hope that I gave that to my 3 children, that they work hard, they enjoy their life, and they do that with their children. So that's my success.
Nice. So I got one more thing to say, and that's take pride in your failures, and don't look at your failure as a fail. Look at your failure as it was an experience, it was an opportunity. You can learn from it, you can grow from it. It led to bigger and better. Don't let it hold you back. Like, we've all done and said terrible things. I can look back and be like, yeah, I shouldn't have done that, but I feel I always made the best decision that I could at the time. And at the time, whatever I did and said, that's what I did and that's what I said. And, I could really get hung up on a lot of those things, but I look at it now as it was an opportunity, it was an experience. And I'm not scared of failure now. And so that allows me to do great things, and especially in artwork. In artwork, everything, it's a process. It's a trial, it's an error, it's trying new things. And if you're hung up on, well, I don't want to do this because I'm going to fail or somebody's not going to like it, like, you're going to struggle. So just go out there and create and build like nobody's watching. Just do what it is that you want to do, exactly how you want to do it. And if somebody doesn't like it, that's not a failure. You were successful in doing it. So focus on you, be happy with you, surround yourself with good people, take pride in who you are. We all have bad days, like Pat said, we've done things. Just own it.
Learn from it.
Yeah, learn from it.
Learn.
Exactly.
Listen to it.
Yeah.
Everybody's got failures, even if they don't think they do. So
if you didn't fail, you didn't try. If you didn't lose, you were never going to win. So,
all right.
Anybody else?
No, I mean, just be grateful for every breath that you take. None of us are guaranteed our next heartbeat.
Yep.
So it could all end at any given second. And what do you want to be known for? Because when you die, nothing else matters. What are you leaving behind? Money, cars, houses? It's all irrelevant. It's your legacy. So people, what will you be remembered by when you're gone? Hopefully you left some sort of impact and helped people out. And
It's something as simple as bought coffee.
yeah, just something simple like that. Just be good to one another. And live today.
Right.
Because tomorrow's never
I
promised.
know. I was going to ask you to finish it off with that.
There you go.
Yep.
So, well, hey, I really appreciate everybody taking the time to do this. The Powerhouse is just about creating a foundation, an opportunity, a platform for us all to be the best person that we can be, and that's what this is about. So, you can help us out, follow us through Facebook, social media, share our story, help promote us a little bit, and that'll help us get to where we need to be. Thanks.
Thank you.
Peace.